What's up, y'all? Down here near St. George, Utah on a beautiful sunny day. And we're gonna take the XXX and cruise over to Tokerville Falls. And we have arrived. While we cruise over to Tokerville Falls, I thought it'd be a good time to do a 2,000 mile or 1 year of ownership review on the XXX. So let's start off with some of the pros. A big one for me is this bike has been pretty issue free. After 2,000 miles, I've only had to do just regular maintenance. And when it comes to working on this bike, it's pretty easy. If you just do the basics, maintenance your chain, give the brakes a little love every now and then, bleed them, change the pads, all that. But really, this bike is pretty easy to keep going. And I don't like abuse this bike, but by no means do I baby it. I mean, so overall, if you want a pretty issue-free, small bike, it's a great option. With that, there's tons of aftermarket support at this point. Bike's been out for a couple years now, so if you want to upgrade or you just need replacement parts, I mean, they're there. You usually have options. So for the electric bike world, which is still, pretty new, obviously, it's kind of cool. I would say this is one of the better supported bikes. And by the way, this is a mostly an OHV like car road. I think it's most popular for, and oh my god, this would suck in a car. Another pro I've learned after a year of ownership on this bike is it is very unassuming. And what I mean by that is this bike is so small and kind of more like actual bike looking that you can get away with riding this thing about anywhere. Location dependent and laws are starting to get a little stricter, but for right now, you really can ride this thing anywhere to everywhere. Overall, a great small electric dirt bike that still holds up a couple years after its release. But there is some cons to this bike, so let's talk about that. Now, with all the stuff I just said, this bike is small, and so it helps you in some ways, but as you guys can see, I do a good amount of trail riding. Usually just easier stuff like this, nothing too crazy. And it can handle it. Any basic trails or off-roading, this bike is gonna be fine. But this is a small bike, and so if you want to start doing some more technical stuff, a little harder terrain, just its lack of size and weight, it just tosses you around on the trails, and it gets pretty exhausting to ride after a while compared to like a bigger, comfier bike. It is more flickable than a bigger bike, so in some ways you can use it to your advantage. Fine for stuff like this, like easy trails. With the right tires and maybe a couple power upgrades, it's actually super capable of more technical stuff, but your wrists are going to be sore after riding for sure. And with that, I just want to say another con for me is how skinny this bike is. Because it's so skinny, you can get a float seat, it makes it a lot better, but overall, after I would say about an hour and a half of riding this bike, no matter how you stack it, it's just not that comfortable. But as you guys can see, just like basic stuff like this, like going up some rocks, OHV roads, it's not gonna be a problem. I think another con, I talked about this in my last video, it just goes along with what I was talking about earlier, is really just the suspension. The stock suspension's not bad, but it's not great. And then the last big con for me, taking the battery in and out, it's pretty easy. You can do it in about 5 minutes. But for a time like this in the winter where I keep my bike in my garage and it's not heated, it's separate from my house, taking the battery out, it just could have been a better design. I mean, it's just like when you get the rear door open to actually take the battery out, unless you have an extremely high stand, it's super annoying. You have to pick the bike up even further past the stand. And so my XXX people will know what I'm talking about. Anyway, that's something to keep in mind if you're going to be like living in a place where you need to take the battery in and out. Wouldn't say it's a deal breaker, but I wouldn't say this is like ideal by any means. Yeah, man, overall this is a great bike. Still holds up. If you want to make it more capable, you definitely can. Again, the aftermarket support's there. And 2,000 miles in, I have no regrets, and I really could see myself having this bike for another couple thousand miles. Okay, we're getting closer to the falls now. Been some fun terrain getting up here. Don't know if I'd really like this in a car. I think the 4Runner can handle it, but I think it'd be such a bumpy ride. Can't wait to get a rear brake back when you just have a fake clutch. Oh, second, third, fourth. I'm just kidding, but it is kind of funny just having this do nothing. This morning when I woke up, it was a little bit too cold to get in the bike still, and I was staying probably like 20 minutes from Zion. So I just cruised up to the entrance of the park and was just checking it out, enjoying the morning views and whatnot. But I saw the buses practicing, and there was like 4 or 5 buses and like a couple groups just running back and forth, parking rates are ridiculous. Some of these national parks down here in southern Utah, they're actually like Disney World in the summertime. I mean, you got so busy. So I thought it'd be cool to come down here in the winter, because I mean, there's nobody here right now. Alrighty, we're so close to this point. This trail ended up being a little bit longer than I thought it was gonna be. It's nice finally getting the throttle a little bit too. It's not as rocky over here. Hey, there it is, Tokerville Falls. Jeep convoy coming through here. Got the whole Jeep squad rolling out. Okay, HMC off-road. Bunch of good looking Jeeps, HMC off-road. God, I gotta wave from every single person. I can't wave at everybody. Oh, I appreciate the gang. Dang, they had a whole squad up here. Oh, Dub, looks like there's some like fun stuff here too. Ooh, look at this, look at this. Waterfall goofing. Look, it's all frozen across. Let's go, this is such a cool spot. Doesn't look too deep. I guess we'll take the Talaria across the water. Let's give her a go. Yeah, wasn't deep at all. Over time, I've kind of lost my fear of electric and water. Dude, this is a super fun little spot. I'm so glad I came here today. If you're ever in southern Utah, need an easy trail ride for the day, highly recommend. But yeah, Talaria XXX, a couple years after its release, still holds up. For the price, you really can't beat it. But that's gonna do it for this week. Hit that like and subscribe button, and I will catch y'all next video.